Stop waiting for the perfect pass. Stop waiting for the perfect opportunity, for the perfect moment when everything aligns and success is handed to you on a silver platter. Let me tell you something that will shatter your comfortable little illusion. That moment is never coming. Luck isn't something that falls from the sky to rescue the average. Luck is a scientific byproduct of absolute obsession and brutal adaptation. If you are standing still, waiting for life to get better, you are already dead. You are just a background character in someone else's story, waiting to be devoured. In Blue Lock, I learned a harsh, cold truth. If you do not have an ego, if you do not possess the absolute obsession to stand at the top, you are nothing but fuel for the true egoists. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the strongest. I didn't have the God-given physical talent of the geniuses around me. If I played by their rules, if I tried to fit in and be a good team player, I would have been sent home on day one. I had to adapt. I had to look at my own weaknesses not as a death sentence, but as a puzzle to be solved. I had to develop my metavision. I had to see the entire field, analyze every single player, predict their moves, and find the exact space where I could devour them. That is the mental grind you are avoiding. You want success, but you refuse to think. You refuse to analyze your failures. You keep doing the same average things, day after day, expecting a different result. That isn't dedication. That is stupidity. If you want to win, you must become an egoist. You must decide right now that being average is an insult to your existence. You must look at the people who are ahead of you, not with envy, but with the cold determination to devour their skills, outthink their strategies, and take their place at the top. You have to destroy your old self to make room for the winner. Every time I faced a wall, every time a genius blocked my path, I didn't cry about my lack of talent. I analyzed my defeat. I ripped apart my style of play, found the missing piece, and adapted. I devoured their weapons and made them my own. That is how you create luck. You put yourself in the position to strike. You predict the bounce of the ball, and when the opportunity appears, you devour it without a single shred of hesitation. The average people will call you selfish. They will tell you that you need to be more humble, that you need to wait your turn, that you need to support the group. Do not listen to the mediocre. They want to drag you down to their level because your ambition makes them look lazy. They want you to be soft so they don't have to face the cold reality of their own failure. Cultivate your ego. Let your obsession drive you. When you are studying, when you are working, when you are building your business, you need to enter a state of absolute flow. Turn off the noise. Block out the doubters. Focus your entire consciousness on devouring the problem in front of you. Analyze every variable. Where is the weakness? Where is the opportunity? How can you adapt faster than your competition? The world is a competitive arena, and the only rule is survival of the most adaptable. If you are slow, if you are stubborn, if you refuse to change your approach when it's clearly failing, you will be left behind in the dirt. I had to reinvent myself 1,000 times in the heat of the game just to survive. I had to devour my own teammates' plays, using their talent as a stepping stone for my own goals. Is that cold? Yes. Is it ruthless? Absolutely. But that is what it takes to be the best. You cannot afford to be soft when your future is on the line. Stop playing nice. Stop settling for a participation trophy. You are either the one scoring the goal, or you are the one cheering from the bench. Choose right now who you want to be. If you want to stand on the field of victory, then put in the intellectual work. Study the masters, devour their books, devour their habits, devour their mindsets. Take everything they do well and combine it with your own unique weapon. Adapt, adjust, and execute with absolute confidence. The mental grind is exhausting. It requires you to question everything you think you know, to face your mistakes honestly, and to take full responsibility for your results. No excuses. If you fail, it's not because the system is rigged, or because you were unlucky, or because someone else cheated. It's because you failed to adapt. It's because your ego wasn't strong enough to force the victory. Own your failure, learn from it, and devour the next challenge with even greater intensity. Build a mindset that cannot be shaken by setbacks. Let's break down your failure mathematically. Why did you fail to achieve your goals last month? Because your formula was flawed. You had the desire, you had the target, but your execution lacked strategic awareness. You ran blind. In football, if you only look at the ball, you miss the movements of the defenders, the positioning of the goalkeeper, the wind, the grass. In life, if you only focus on the end goal, you miss the micro decisions that are holding you back. You miss the 10 minutes wasted here, the lack of focus there, the bad habits that drain your energy. Metavision is the ability to zoom out, to look at the entire chessboard of your life and see the relationships between all variables. You must analyze your daily routine like a scientist. Identify the friction points. Where are you losing focus? Why are you hesitating? Once you map out your weaknesses, you can reconstruct your path. You don't just work harder, you work smarter. You find the exact angle to execute, and you strike with maximum efficiency. Most people are raised to be good kids. They are told to play nice, to wait in line, and to not make a scene. They are conditioned to be supporting characters in someone else's highlight reel. But let me tell you this, the field of victory has no room for good kids. It only rewards the monsters, the ones who are willing to stand out, to take the shot, and to carry the burden of the result. If you miss, you take the blame. If you score, you take the glory. You must develop the ego to demand the ball. Stop deferring to others. Stop assuming that someone else is more qualified, more talented, or more deserving than you. If you want the crown, you have to go take it from their head. It requires a complete breakdown of your polite, passive mindset. You must become hungry. You must look at every challenge as a meal, and every competitor as fuel. It is a state of absolute, strategic aggression. You don't wait for permission to win. You create the winning formula. You adapt to the defense, and you execute. When you step onto your battlefield today, carry the absolute conviction that you are the main character of this game. You are not there to blend in. You are there to dominate. Let your ego expand until it consumes every doubt, every fear, and every distraction. Outwork them, outthink them, and devour them all. That is the Blue Lock way. That is the only path to the absolute peak of success. The concept of ego is misunderstood by the weak. They think it means loud-mouthed arrogance. But true ego is silent. It is the deep, unshakable belief in your own ability to adapt and overcome. It is the refusal to accept anything less than absolute mastery. When the game is on the line, the average player panics. They look for someone else to pass to. They shrink under the pressure. But the egoist demands the ball. They want the pressure. They know that the pressure is the only place where their metavision can truly operate. If you want to achieve great things, you must run toward the pressure. You must seek out the hardest challenges, the most competitive environments, and the most difficult projects. That is where you will find the raw materials to build your success. Do not ask for an easy life. Ask for the strength to devour a difficult one. You must become a predator of opportunity. Every failure is just data. Every setback is just a puzzle piece that you haven't figured out how to use yet. Reroute your thinking. If your current strategy is not working, do not double down out of pride. Strip it away. Be willing to throw out your entire game plan if it means finding a path to victory. This is what it means to adapt. It is a painful, ego-bruising process, but it is the only way to avoid stagnation. The mediocre are terrified of change. They cling to their comfortable, failing habits because it is easier than facing the truth. Do not be like them. Be ruthless with yourself. Audit your time, audit your efforts, and audit your habits. If something is not contributing to your goal, devour it and spit it out. You do not have time for distractions. You do not have time for half-hearted attempts. You must give everything to your obsession. Let it consume your thoughts, let it drive your actions, and let it define your character. When you reach that level of obsession, the entire world begins to shift in your favor. The pieces of the puzzle start falling into place. You see the paths that others miss. You react faster, think sharper, and execute with absolute precision. You enter the flow state, and once you are in that state, no one can stop you. They will watch in absolute disbelief as you bypass their defenses, outthink their strategies, and take the victory that they thought was theirs. But it was never theirs. It belonged to the egoist who is willing to adapt, to suffer, and to devour everything in their path. Stand tall, open your eyes, activate your metavision. The field is yours, the game is waiting. Go out there and devour your limits. Let them watch you rise.